Hi, thank you. R.Joshua with Homeless Advocates for Christ. And I guess I'd just like to first read a proverb in 31 verse 8 and 9. It says, "Open thy mouth for the dumb, and the cause of all such as are appointed to destruction. Open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and the needy." And I know that God's calling a lot of us to get involved in this. And recently I followed one of our friends that are homeless and mentally ill through the court system. And this kind of was happening in Santa Ana. I actually talked to first his public defender, and I said, hey, can you put him in mental health court? Because he's in normal court, and they're about to prosecute him as a normal person, right? Which seems pretty unfair. So anyways, he said, yeah, that's a good idea. Thanks for putting that on my radar. And he shifted him to mental health court in Santa Ana. And we went down there, and they said, well, since this person decided, I guess he talked to his public defender and said, I don't want to be in mental health court, but he's mentally ill, so how is it that he can decide for himself, what court I'm going to be in? But that's what he decided, so they shipped him back to the court in Fullerton, and then he was prosecuted, and he took a deal or whatever, but basically now he has a record, but I think that mentally ill people should not be allowed to decide what court they're in, and it's not really a fair situation there, to prosecute someone that's mentally ill in a normal court. A lot of times they're called incompetent to stand trial, and I don't know who to talk to bring change to that, but I think it definitely needs to happen. And I'm also, of course, concerned about the recent killing of the mentally ill woman in Anaheim. It just seems like they're not being treated right. I actually sent you a video. It's by Brave New Films. It's called Over-Criminalized: Alternatives to Incarceration. And I hope you can watch it. Maybe you can let me know that you will watch it. It's about maybe 30 minutes or so. But it talks about how some cities are actually giving training to police so that they'll come to them more in plain clothes sometimes and talk in a way that will help them to calm down, and then they can deal with them better and get them into mental health facilities instead of maybe tasing them and jailing them and maybe even killing them. That's kind of what's happening a lot. And so I don't know if you can take a look at that. I also sent that to a couple different police, and I don't know how many deaths it's going to take of the mentally ill to get us to really get into this, but it takes really no honor to do something that's easy. We need to do something that's difficult, right? Sometimes we need to look at, it's a tough situation, but we can't just ignore it because it's hard. We should get involved in it. So I encourage you guys to hopefully, get involved in that. Terry declined to have another meeting with us. He said that they didn't want to change anything what the police are doing, whatever. It sounded like the leaders, he said the city leaders haven't decided to change anything, so he declined to meet with us, but
Mr. Collins, I'm sorry.
I think it needs to happen.
The video you sent, did you send that as attachment to an email?
It is the email, actually. My email address, servingjesus99212@yahoo.com. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. We have heard stories of patriotism, and there are stories of good report, and we all applaud them. Now, there's a lot of deceptive names being given to the people by politicians, officials, and organizations like Americans for Prosperity, Heritage Foundation, and others which are funded by the Koch brothers oil industry. And then there we have Mercy House and Bay State Veterans Charity, which are in question. Citizens United equals corporate united. And then we got the Patriot Act, which infringes on our privacies. Now we have the NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act, which gives the police power to be above the law. Enhanced interrogation, which is actually torture. The right to work, which is really the right to work for less. And Taxpayers Protection Act. Now titles could be deceiving if not followed by actions of what they are supposed to mean. Now, we need to be careful and question what is behind the titles that we are given to us. Let's remember Genesis 1, where the snake, being very cunning and deceiving, was able to twist the words of the Lord. Now we can be kind to the dogs, give them a home, food, bath, and a yard, and they will be are best friends for life, even to the point of sacrificing their own life. But abuse them, it oppresses them, and they just might turn the other way when we need their help. And that applies to people too. Now the city is called City of Kindness, and there are things that we see happening, like opening a dog park, food drive to feed the needy, and coming home. Anaheim. Now we wait for the kindness, the best kindness that could be in opening the shelter, and at least a park for the homeless to have a safe zone. And also, we need to abolish unconstitutional policies that infringe on the homeless rights. Now the community needs to not judge homeless because they do not know who they judge, as it might be a disabled veteran, an elderly, a mentally handicapped, or someone who just lost their home, job, or has a family to feed. The homeless could happen to anybody. Now, it could even be your neighbor. And no one likes to be homeless, and that can happen to anybody. Some homeless just need a helping hand of kindness. Now let's start having some compassion instead of blaming the homeless just for being homeless. Honor them, because some of them are our veterans. Thank you. This one day will be for the homeless. And let me tell you, you'll be a plot for it, and you'll be honored as well. Thanks, sir.
Disneyland has been making over $1 billion a year in profits in Anaheim, but has been paying almost nothing in taxes as compared to the taxes that the hotels and residents have been paying in Anaheim. Disneyland has been directly benefiting from hundreds of millions of our tax dollars. Anaheim tax money that should have been used for more police protection, parks, libraries for Anaheim residents. As a result of the tax money giveaways to Disneyland by such corrupt Disney elected council members like Redmond, Green, and Murray, Anaheim is in debt almost $1 billion. Since our debt has been caused mostly by Disneyland, Disneyland should be charged a small tax of about $1 on their $99 admission price in order to pay down the huge debt Disneyland created for Anaheim. At the last council meeting, the Disneyland hoarder, Chris Murray, is once again deceiving Anaheim residents. She has proposed a ballot measure called the Disneyland Tax Protection Act that could protect Disneyland from ever having to pay an admission tax to the city of Anaheim. There are about 20 Anaheim residents like Chris Murray that are committee members of Disney Soar and are paid tens of thousands of dollars in Disney VIP benefits to betray their Anaheim friends and neighbors. These Disney Soar committee members are paid by Disney to mislead the public in promoting the tax protection ballot measure that prevents an admission tax for Disneyland. At the last council meeting, Disney Soar committee members Pat Pepper and Gloria Mayas were paid by Disney to tell outright falsehoods concerning the Disney tax protection ballot measure. Expect other Disney Soar committee members, such as Larry Sagel, Mitch Hardwell, Sandy Day, and Bill O'Connor, that are paid by Disney to speak falsely at council meetings in promoting the Chris Murray proposed tax protection ballot measure. The proposed ballot measure essentially prevents Disneyland from ever having to pay an admission tax to Anaheim. Remember, the Disney Soar members are being paid by Disney to lie and destroy the financial future of Anaheim. Thank you for your time.
The following three speakers presented at the podium: Leslie Anderson, Johnny Onyales, and Dr. Wayne Palmer.